Okay, so development of pentagonal prism of side 30 mm and length 60 mm using parallel line method. Okay, so how we project, you can see here I have constructed the top and front view of a pentagonal prism, and now we have to construct the development of this. So how we do it means, so we will be extending the lines here just like this little bit. Okay, so we'll be extending the lines. Okay, so here the line, it is same parallel. Say I'll be starting from this end, say here, from here a vertical line, that is true length 60. Okay, and here you can see this pentagonal prism having 5 sides. Okay, so what we do, we'll measure 30. So 30 means you can measure from the compass, or you can directly cut it for each 3 boxes. Okay, so total 5 faces we have to get. Okay, so now draw vertical lines. Okay, so 5 faces, you can see 1 2 3 4 5, each of the faces having the same edge length of the pentagonal prism. So we will be giving the naming as in capital letters, that is A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, and A1. Again it is joining with the same face. Okay, same way. So we'll be writing for this top also capital A, B, C, D, E, and E. So this is nothing but the development of this pentagonal prism using parallel line method. Sphere prism of base side 35 given. So rest on the base on HP. So with the faces equally inclined to VP. So you can see, so with respect to the diagram given here, we need to draw the development of the lateral surface. So it has been cut with respect to the diagram here. So you can see we have a base edge of 35, and it is a square prism. So 4 sides means, so it is around 140 mm. So the total length we get, it is 140 mm. So first we will take initial edge here. Okay, initial reference point. Okay, from there, okay, so you can see it is having 4 sides, and each of the sides are having 35 mm. You can measure from the scale, or you can measure the same length from the top view of the first diagram. Okay, 35 you need to measure and cut 4 arcs. Okay, 4 arcs you have to cut here. Okay, 4 arcs you need to cut. Okay, so we will extend the line here till the cutted arc. So the top side also we do the same thing. Okay, now wherever the cutted arc is there, so we will be drawing vertical lines. Okay, these are the true lengths. Okay, so we need to draw the vertical lines where we have cutted the arc. Okay, so now we have to mention the namings here. Okay, so capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D, and capital A. So at the A, so it exactly cutting at here 1, and at B it is 2 here, and at the 3, so it is cutting exactly here at the C point, and again at D it is 4, it is cutting at D here. Okay, so now we will join all these points 1, 2, 3, 4 with a straight line here. Okay, so the cutted portion, so the remained cutted portion we need to show in the dark line, so that's why I'm using the pen here. So you need to dark this. This is what the development of the cutted portion of the prism. Okay, we need to join the base heads also here. Okay, okay, so this completes the problem. A rectangular prism of base side 25 into 40 mm given, axis length 65. It is resting on HP on its base with the longer side of the base inclined at 30 degree to VP. So it is cut by a plane inclined at 40 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP, and exactly passing at extreme left corner of the base. Okay, so first I will be drawing an XY line. Okay, XY line I will draw now. Okay, I will take a reference point on this. Okay, take reference point. So keep the protractor at this point. Mark for angle 30 degree. Okay, so it is exactly inclined at an angle of 30 degree. Okay, so draw a line of length passing through this angle point. So the angle it is 30 degree. Okay, and here it is placed with the longer side it is 40 mm. So measure the length of 40 mm on this angle line. Okay, angle line 40 mm. So now you take the protractor, mark exactly at 90 degree using these reference points. Okay, again we keep the protractor at another reference point, mark for 90 degree. Okay, now you draw a line of length passing through this point at a height of 25 mm. It is a rectangular prism. Okay, so draw a line of length passing through this 90 degree point at a height of 25 mm. So 25, so you can mark 25 mm here. Okay, then join. So that completes a rectangle of dimension 40 into 25. So we will show the dimension. So you can show on the upper side or the lower side, no problem. So 40 and 25. 40 by 25 and inclined at 30 degree. Okay, now we have to draw the front view of this. So it is an prism, so it is having top face and bottom face. Top face A, B, C, D, bottom face A1, B1, C1 and T1 not visible, that's why it is in bracket. Now we draw the diagonals to find out the center of the axis. Draw the diagonals, mention O1, center of the axis. Now draw the projection lines from all these endpoints. Okay, so draw the projection line here. Okay, you can see here the axis length they have mentioned, it is 65. So from the axis, first I will draw an axis length for 65 mm, and then the remaining edges also I'll draw for 65. Okay, From all this we need to draw the vertical edges for dimension 65. Then join, we get the rectangular face in the front view for a prism, right? This is an rectangular prism, height of 65. Okay, so we can show the dimension for the front view. So it is 65. Okay, so now we can see there is an cut plane, there is sectional plane cutting at an angle of 40 degree to HP, and it is perpendicular to VP, passing extreme corner, left corner of the base. You can see extreme left corner we need to consider here. So this is whatever the extreme left corner. Okay, keep at this exact point. Okay, and mark for angle 40 degree. Okay, mark for angle 40 degree. Draw a line. Okay, cut plane here, passing through this angle point. Okay, section plane you need to draw here. Okay, and it is exactly at an angle of 40 degree. Okay, now we need to dark the remaining portion, that is retained cut portion. We need to dark this. Okay, so we need to dark this. Okay, now we need to mark the points here. 1 exactly at A, and B exactly at 2 exactly at B, and 3 exactly at C, and 4 exactly at D. So, and again 5 we get it, and 1 here. So now we draw the development of this cutted remaining portion of the prism. Okay, so first I will extend these lines, because these things are drawn with the true lengths of line. Okay, true lengths of line, these things were drawn. So first I will take a reference vertical edge. Okay, from this vertical edge we need to proceed from A to B. You can see from A to B it is having a length of 25. It is having a length of 25. Again cut the arc, so that is your AB, 25. Next from, so we'll draw vertical line here, and I will show the dimension for this. So the dimension it is 25 mm. Okay, 25. Next from B to C we have 40 mm. B to C we have 40. So we'll cut the arc, that is BC. BC it is having 40 mm. Okay, BC we have 40 mm. Again from C to D we have 25. Okay, C to D we have again 25, because this is an rectangular prism. So based on the edge we need to consider the length. Again from D to A, again it is 40. So we can mark the points here, D, and this is A. And we draw the vertical edges exactly at these BC and D and A points. So drawing the vertical edges. Okay, so now we have to mark this point number 1 at A, and at B we have, so we can measure it from the compass, from the top face or from the bottom face we can measure it, no problem. Okay, you can measure that and cut the arc. Again you can measure that point number 3 on the point D, again the point number 4 on the vertical edge D. Okay, so now we can mark the namings here. So it is 2, 3, 4. So now I have to join all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the straight line. With the help of scale we'll join this. So we need to join this. So we need to dark this the entire retained remaining portion of the rectangular prism. We need to dark this. Okay, so we have to dark it, because this is what the cutted remained portion. Okay, remained portion, we know that we need to dark it. Okay. Okay, so this completes the problem. A square prism of base height 30 mm and axis length 60 is resting on HP on its base with all vertical faces being equal to inclined to VP. That means it is here also we need to construct a square prism of dimension 30 with respect to corner position. Okay, and here in the cutting plane it is inclined at 60 degree perpendicular to VP, and it is passing at a distance of 50 mm from the base. So we need to draw the development of the lower portion of the prism here. So first I have taken a reference point, then I have put the protractor and mark for 45 degree. Now I am drawing a line of length 30 mm passing through that point. Okay. So draw a line of length 30 mm passing through that particular point. So from this end also you can draw. Take the compass and cut the arc for 30 mm. You can measure it any one of the edge. At the reference point, from the reference point you can cut it. Okay. And then join it to get the square with respect to corner position. You can show the dimension on one side, that is 30 mm. Okay, then it is a prism, that means it is having two faces, top face and the bottom face. Okay, here in the thin lines I am trying to get the center of the axis. Okay, show the dimension 30. You can write A1, BB1, CC1 and DD1 and O1. Okay, then draw XY line. Draw the projection lines from all these ends. Okay, draw the projection lines. You can draw the axis line of length 60 mm. 60 mm. So you can draw measure exactly 60 mm, that is 6 centimeter from the scale. You can draw vertical line, that is axis line here. So using the axis line we can draw the front view of this square prism. You can easily draw. Okay, so that completes the front view of the square prism. You get a rectangular face here. Okay, now here you can see, so inclined plane, that is a cutting plane. So we will show the dimension here. The dimension it is 60 mm. So axis length we show that. Okay, now you can see that the vertical plane, that is inclined plane, cutting at an angle of 60 degree, and it is at a height of 50 mm from the base. So from the base we need to consider 50. So mark a point for a 50 mm, that is 5 centimeter. Okay, then take the protractor mark for angle 60 degree here. Okay, mark for angle 60 degree, and then draw a line of line passing through that angle point. So mark the reference point. Till there we can draw a cutting plane here. Okay, exactly at that point you can mark. Okay, so here, so that is our 1.1 and exactly where it is meeting. 2 point it is exactly at the B, and 3 point, so we need to draw vertically downward line. We don't know exactly where it is cutting, so we need to draw vertically downward line. So it is cutting here exactly at 3, and here we get the 4, and 5 point we are getting exactly at the D point here. So we need to draw the development of this. Okay, I'll show where it is exactly cutting. So it is exactly cutting at 50 mm from the base. You can show that dimension. You can show that dimension. So now you can extend it. So because it is drawn with the parallel line method, just you draw 2 lines extending from here. Okay, so here it is a 30 mm base length. It is having 4 sides, means we need to extend by till 120 mm. Okay, so first we'll take a reference end here. From this point I'll be marking exactly at 120 mm, that is 12 centimeter. On the both side I'll be marking it. Okay, so now we'll join this. Till here we need to extend. Okay, exactly here till here, so you can join it. So now you can take the compass and cut exactly, measure 30, any one of the edge you can measure, and cut 4 arcs here. Okay, it is having 4 sides, right? You can cut 4 arcs. Okay, so you can cut it exactly 4 arcs. Okay, then draw vertical lines joining at these points. Okay, so these are the true lengths you can draw. Okay, so you can mark A, B, C, D, capital A, B, C, D here. Okay, then so we need to extend this one point. So we extend, so we get it on the point A here. On the line A we getting this here. So we're drawing thin lines. So on the A line we marking 1, 1. Same way we'll be extending this 2 and 5 point. So if we extend this, so 2 we are getting on the line, that is the edge B, and the 5 point we getting on the edge D. Now for that 3 and 4 we need to measure exactly how much it is. So it is around 1.1 something it is getting. This is 11 mm are getting. So what we do, so we can take the compass and measure the same length, and we can cut the arc. Okay, from 2 to 3 and 5 to 4, like that we can do. So we can measure anyone from here to here or from this point. Okay, so here from here also you can measure. It is around 12-13 mm we are getting it. So we can measure this. So we can measure this, and we can cut the arc by measuring the using compass. So you can measure that particular length, and we can cut the arc here. Okay, from 2 to 3, again from that 5 to 4. Okay, it's the same length it is. You can cut it, and we can mark that is 3 and that is 4. Okay, now we can join all these points. So we can draw here one other vertical line here. Okay, so I'll be joining all these things with the straight line. So you need to dark this where we are getting the points, right? Exactly at these points we need to dark this. Okay, we need to dark this. So we need to join with the straight line using scale. Okay, have to dark these particular points. Okay, need to darken all the edges. Okay, so that is what the development of the lower portion of the prism. Okay, cutted portion. So I'll be darkening this again, these vertical edges. Okay, vertical edges I am darkening here. Okay, here also this cutted portion. So in the front view also I am going to dark it. Okay, that is what the retained portion, cutted portion, retained, and this is what the lower portion of the prism. So that's why we are darking it. Okay, so that completes the development of the square prism. Okay, thank you. A regular pentagonal prism of height 60 mm and base head 30 mm given, rest on HP. A vertical face close to VP inclined at 30 degree to VP. So draw the development of truncated prism with its truncated surface inclined at 60 degree to its axis and bisecting it. Bisecting means exactly middle point we need to consider. Okay, so first I am going to draw an XY line, writing VPHP and Y. So here we need to construct a pentagon by considering a 30 degree angle line. With respect to that 30 degree angle line, so we need to place that our pentagonal prism. So take a reference point and mark for 30 degree and draw an angle line. Okay, so mention angle 30 degree. Okay, so here with respect to VP, close to VP and inclined at 30 degree. So now edge 30 mm we have to consider. So take 30 mm from the reference point. So take protractor and mark for 72 degree. We know that as external angle of pentagon it is 72 degree it is. So draw a line of length 30 mm passing through that angle point. Same way we have to do it for this side also. Keep the protractor in such a way that and mark for 72 degree and draw a line of length 30 mm passing through that point, because here pentagonal prism having a dimension of 30. Okay, so now take the protractor and cut the arc of 30 mm. So cut the arc. So we have constructed a pentagon here. So you can show the dimension on one side, dimension of 30 mm. So you can mention the naming because it is in prism having both faces, top face and the bottom face. So we can mention the naming here. Okay. So A1, top face A, B, C, D, top face, bottom face E1, B1, C1, D1 and E1. So that is not visible from the top face. So now we have to find out the center of the axis. So to find out the center of the axis in the prism, so we need to draw the perpendicular bisectors here. Perpendicular bisectors. So exactly passing the middle point. So from all these corners, so we need to draw perpendicular bisectors. So perpendicular bisectors will be drawn exactly from corner to the opposite middle point, opposite edge middle point we need to draw. Okay, we get center of the axis of this pentagonal prism. So now we will project it upward. Okay, to complete the front view of this. So draw the projection lines. Okay, from all the ends you can draw the projection lines. Okay, here line of length that is 65 mm. So we can 60 mm it is, sorry. So draw an axis for 60 mm. So all the edges will be having the same length of 60. Okay. Okay. So you can mention the namings for the top face and the bottom face. You can see here exactly in the axis point I think missed. So axis line we get it here. Okay, that is your edge point E1 dash. So we will dark that. Okay, now we are getting exactly O1 dash and O dash. Okay, now now we can show the dimension of 60 mm. You can show here. Now we have to consider the angle of inclination 60 degree. Exactly bisecting means exactly half, middle point of the axis we have to consider, middle of the axis. Middle point means if it is 60 means we should consider 30 mm. We should consider exactly 30 mm. Okay, so you can show the dimension here. So now here in this question, the axis will be having inclination of 60 degree, that is truncated surface. That is, from that axis we need to consider an angle of 60 degree. Okay, so this here it is a tricky question. Okay, from that axis point, truncated surface, we need to consider an angle of 60. Okay, so little bit different. So we can show the angle, you can show from the axis to the truncated surface. That's what the angle here. So you can mention the naming now. So where the section plane is cutting it. Okay, 1 2 3 4 you can mark it. So with respect to these points, we need to draw the development of the truncated prism here. Okay, so you can just measure the length from the top surface. So 1 1 we can cut it on A, then 1 2. So from that is the length 2 from the B we need to cut, and the length of 3 we need to cut it on C. Okay, length of 4 we need to cut it on D. And length of 5 we need to cut it on E. So with the help of a compass we can measure the length and cutting the reference points. So we can mention the naming 1 2 3 4 5 and 1. So now you can join all these points with the help of a scale using straight line. Okay, dark the truncated cut portion, the remain cut portion, we should dark it. Okay, so that completes the problem. We have a rectangular prism which is having a base of 14 to 25 and height 65 mm. So rest on HP on its base with the longer side, and it is inclined at 30 degree to VP. So first we draw an XY line and have taken a reference point. So keeping the protractor at that reference point, okay, marking at 30 degree. So you can see 30 degree to VP. So it is an rectangular prism we need to construct, and it is placing with the longer side. Longer side we have it, that is 40. So mark for 30 degree, okay, angle, and draw a line of length passing through this 30 degree angle point. Okay, and show the angle 30 degree. Okay, now on this longer side we need to consider 40 mm. To take reference point of 40, okay, measure 40 using scale 40 mm. Okay, so take a protractor and mark at this at this reference point, mark for 90 degree, exactly perpendicular, mark for 90 degree. Okay, again the another reference point also you keep the protractor and mark for 90 degree. Okay, draw two perpendicular lines here passing through that point, but it has to be have a length of 40 mm. Okay, 40 mm is 4 centimeter from the scale, and sorry, it is 25. So 25 mm you have to draw. Okay, so now join it. So it is 40 by 25 rectangle. Okay, show the dimensions. So dimension 40 mm. Okay, here we have 25. Okay, length of 25 it is. Okay, now we'll be marking the namings for top face and bottom face. A, B, C, D it is for the top face, E1, B1, C1, D1 for the bottom face. Bottom face not visible, that's why it is in bracket. Now we draw the diagonals to find out the center of the axis of this rectangular prism. Okay, that is O01. Okay, now we'll project the projection lines to draw the front view. So draw the projection lines here. From all these points we need to draw the projection lines here. Okay, so now on the axis we have to show the length of 65 from the axis, so that is height of 60. So draw an axis line here. Okay, and the remaining edges also we will construct it for 65. Okay, then join it. So you can show the dimension. So dimension of 65, that is axis height. So you can say it is cut by a section plane at an angle of 40 degree to HP, and it is exactly occurring at the midpoint of the axis height. So we have the axis height of 65. So exactly middle point means 32.5. So we need to mark on the axis line here. We need to mark for 32.5 here. Exactly, we need to mark for 32.5 at the midpoint of the axis. Midpoint it is exactly 32.5, half of the axis. Okay, so we'll show the dimension. Okay, so that is 32.5. Okay, now we have to take the protractor and mark for an angle 40 degree at this reference point. Okay, mark for angle 40 degree and draw an angle line passing through this point. So here we will be constructing a section plane. Okay, we'll extend the same thing. So we can show the angle here first. So angle it is 40 degree. So we'll extend this section plane for the downward side. Okay. Okay, now we need to dark the cutted remaining portion, which is cut by the section plane. The remaining portion of the rectangular prism, we need to dark this. Okay. Okay, now we need to mark the numbers here for the cutted plane. 1 it is occurring at A, and 2 it is occurring at again B. So C it is occurring at again at 3 it is occurring at, sorry, that's not correct. So it is occurring at point C, 3 point, cutting at C, and D it is occurring at 4 it is occurring at D, and then 5 we have. So now we will draw the development of this by extending the line. Okay, so here it is, we have 40 into 25, correct, 40 into 25. So first we will extend these lines, then using the compass we will cut each of these lengths. Okay, first I'll be cutting for 25, then I'll be cutting for 40, again 25, then again 40. So that's how we will cut the arc on that extended lines. So first I'm going to extend the lines here. So this is what our rectangle prism dimension. Okay, I'm extending the lines here. Okay, So first I will take the reference line. From here we will consider that is A. Okay, from A to B it is 25. We'll take compass, measure 25 mm from A to B. Okay, we'll measure this length from A to B. AB 25 it is. Again from B to C it is 40 mm. From B to C it is 40. Again C to D it is again 25. So you can measure either from the diagram or from that development surface. Again it is 40. D to A. So D to A again 40 it is. You can measure it from B to C only. That is also 40. Okay. So that is our A point. So now we will draw vertical lines connecting at this B point, B, C, D, A. Okay. We extend the lines here. Okay. We need to draw here. Exactly. Okay. After this, so we need to mark the naming here. 1, where it is the 1 it is occurring. Again, either you can measure from the top face or the bottom face. I am measuring from the top face. So the point number 1 here on A, and similarly point number 2 on the B. Okay, and point number 3 on vertical edge C. Okay, and point number 4 on the vertical edge D. Okay, again you can measure that point 1. So point 1 we have again it is on the 1, so it is nothing but 5 or 1 you can mention, no problem in that. So that is our 5. So now we have to join these points with a straight line with the help of the scale. So we have to join it. So join it all these points with a straight line with the help of the scale. To join all these points. And we need to dark this remaining portion of the prism. We need to dark this. So we have to dark it. Okay. So the remaining portion it has to be darker one. Okay, that completes the problem. In this problem they have given cube of side 40, and it is resting on the HP plane with its base such that it is placed such that its vertical face is inclined at 30 degree to VP. Okay, and it is cut by a section plane perpendicular to VP, inclined to HP at an angle of 45 degree, and it is exactly passing at middle point of the axis. Okay, so first we'll draw an XY line here. Okay, then from that XY line I will take a reference point. Okay, and draw 30 degree angle line with respect to VP. So take a reference point, keep the protractor, and mark for angle 30 degree. Okay, mark for angle 30 degree and draw a line passing through that angle point. Okay, so mention angle 30 degree here. Okay, so we need to draw a cube of side 40. So cube of side 40 we have to draw here. So exactly at 40 mm we need to draw here. So 40 you have to mark. Okay, so it is so these edges were exactly vertical. So I'll be keeping the protractor at these reference points and marking at 90 degree. Okay, marking at 90 degree because we need to draw a square. Okay, all the edges were exactly perpendicular. Again I am keeping the protractor at another reference point and marking at 90 degree. Okay, now you draw a line of length. Okay, draw a line of length Okay, after marking 90 degree, draw a line of length 40 mm passing through this 90 degree point. Okay, so vertical line you have to draw. Just draw a line of length 40 mm. Okay, here also, so you can draw a line of length 40 mm here. Okay, now we can join to complete the sketch. Okay, so you can show the angle. So the angle here we have taken 30 degree, right? So 30 degree we have taken, and you can show the dimension on one side. So the one side dimension will be 40 here. Okay, so we need to find out the center of the axis. So draw the lines passing through like diagonals we need to draw to find out the center of the axis. Okay, and mention the naming. So cube is also one of the prism, so it is having both top face and bottom face. Top face notations are A, B, C, D. Bottom face notations are A1, B1, D1 within brackets. Okay, so now we have to project it to complete the front view. So draw the projection lines. Okay, so from the axis also we need to draw exactly vertical line. From all the edges we need to draw the projection lines here. Okay, here the axis length also 40 because it is in cube. Okay, it is in cube. Okay, it is also 40 mm. So first we'll draw axis line 40, then remaining edges also we draw it for 40 mm. Okay, okay, that completes the front view. Okay, so we can show the dimension. So dimension here it is 40 mm, 40. Okay, now we have to show an section plane, cut section plane. So it is exactly 45 degree and it is occurring exactly middle point of the axis. So the total axis is, it is 40. So half exactly middle point means we need to mark at 20 on the axis and then show the dimension 20 mm. Okay, show the dimension 20 mm. Okay, then take the protractor, marking at the reference point, mark for an angle 45 degree. Okay, now draw a straight line, that is cut plane, to that marked angle point. Okay, section plane we need to show where it is cutting exactly. Okay, so angle it is 45 degree. Okay, so now the cutted portion, the remaining cutted portion we will dark it. Okay, we will dark it. Okay, this is what the retained portion after cut by the section plane. So that's why we need to dark this one. Okay, show the axis line here or the section line which is cutting that, dark that one also. And now we will write the naming here. So one exactly cutting, we need to draw vertical line. So on the AB line it is touching it, where it is touching on the AB line. Okay, we need to extend this on the AB line. Okay, AB edge it is touching. Okay, same way. Okay, so we mark for 1 on the top view, same way. So we need to mark for 0.2. So 0.2 here we getting, again we extend it, we write 2. Same way we need to write for 3 here. So 3 here cutting on the BC. Okay, so that is the point 3, and then we have the point 4 we getting here, and then point 5 we getting on the D only. Okay, so we write here also D. Okay, so marking of the points, so we have done. So now we have to draw the development of this. So extend the lines. So 40 mm into 4 sides means it is 160 mm total length we have to consider. First I will take a reference edge. Okay, from here exactly 160 mm we need to extend. Okay, the scale we have for 150 mm, so I will be extending by another 10 mm. Okay, so another 10 mm it will be extended. Okay, the same way we do it for the top face also. Top edge extend for total length we need to consider exactly 160. So again I will mark for 150, extend by 10. Okay, now we have to cut the arcs for 40 mm. 4 arcs we have to cut. You can see, so total length 40 we have to consider, 4 arcs. 160 means 4 times you need to cut arc. First arc, second arc, third arc, and fourth one. Okay, now we have to draw the vertical lines where these arcs were cutted. Okay, now we need to mark A, B, C, D, A. Okay, now we have to mark this point 1 here. So 1 it is there exactly at a distance. We need to measure from the top view. You can see there from A to 1 we need to measure from the compass. A to 1 can measure and cut the arc. This is point 1. Okay, and now you can see that, so 2 it is there, so 2 we can measure it from the front view itself. So 1 to 2, so 1 to 2 on exactly on the B. So this is okay. And then point C we need point 3 we need to mention. So from C to 3 we need to measure. Okay, C to 3 you can measure that. So this is point 3. Again we need to measure point number 4. Again I will measure from C to 4. Okay, C to 4 I will measure. C to 4. Okay, point 5 will be there exactly on the D. So I will measure from the top, from the front view, that length, and I am going to cut the arc, that is 0.5. Again 1 we need to measure. So 1 again I will be measuring from again A to here it is measured. Okay, whatever the length it is, mention again 1. Okay, now we need to join using scale with the help of straight line. So we can join it from 1 to 2 straight line, again from 2 to 3. Okay, actually that 3 and 4 point I need to mark on the top line. Okay, top line I am going to mark it. Okay, the point number 3 and 4 I need to mark it at the top end. Okay, so I'll be marking that. because it is exactly cutting at the top face. At the top face it is cutting. So you can see that we need to just draw a vertical line at the point 3. So that is 3, and this is point number 4. So now we'll join it with a straight line. Okay. So then complete that whole diagram, that cutted remaining portion we need to dark it. Okay, we need to dark the vertical edges also, that is retained cutted portion, we need to dark it. Okay, so that's completes the problem. You can see in this regular triangular prism of dimension resting with respect to face parallel to VP near to it, cut as shown in figure. Draw the development of the retained portion of the prism which are shown in figure. So this is what it is given in the question. Triangular prism of dimension 40, axis length 60. So it is cut as it is shown in figure. You can see the numbers here, how it is cutted and marked here. Okay, now we need to draw the development of this. This is the problem number 1 in the solution book. Okay, that point is A. Okay, so here it is a triangular prism, so it is having a dimension of 40. Okay, so it is having 3 sides, means 40 into 3 means 120. So 3 arcs I need to cut. So I can mention B, C and D and A. Okay. So it is done with the parallel line method. That is 1 and 2 we are getting at a height at a length of 18 mm. So we can measure from the top view. Okay, so you can see that the 2 we should get it above here. You can see on the front view we should mention that 2 exactly where it is there in the front view, 2 dash. So there we need to mention. Okay, this is where we need to mention this point number 2. Then 3 we get it here. Again 4 you can see that we need to measure that 3 to 4 length from the top view. So we should measure that and cut the arc here. Okay, and then so here 5 will be having here, and then again 6, 5 to 6 we need to measure from the top view. Okay, that is 6, and 7 we have it here downward. First I'll mark on the upside. The same thing I'll copy downside. Okay, first I'll be drawing the vertical lines here where we have marked 2, 4 and 6. We draw vertical lines, parallel edges. Okay, now from here 6 to 7 we can mark. Okay, so next we have 7 to 8. So 7 to 8 also we can measure, but 8 it is there on the above. Yes, there it is. So you can measure it 7 to 8. Okay, now we draw the vertical lines here. That is your 1. Now we'll join all these things with the straight line with the help of scale. Okay, so now we can join all this with the straight line from 1 to 2. Okay, I'll be drawing thick line using pen. Okay, 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Okay, 3 to 4 and 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8 and 8 to 1. Okay, and we need to dark this wherever the numbers we have written, right? So from there we will be darkening it. So that's what the retained portion of this triangular prism. Okay, so we should dark those vertical lines where we have mentioned these numbers. Okay, this is what the retained portion. So we can mention the overall length here. So the overall length it is 120 mm. Okay, okay, from A to B it is 40 mm. Okay, okay, so this completes the problem here. Hexagonal prism of base side 20 mm and height 50 mm. So resting on HP on its base such that one of its edges parallel to VP. Okay, the prism is cut in this position as shown in the following front view. So we have drawn and it is given in the question. So it has been cutted like this. Now we need to draw the development of this lateral surface of the prism. Okay, so I will extend these lines. Okay, we'll draw a reference vertical edge. Okay, so here the hexagonal prism of dimension 20. So 20 into 6 sides means it total 120 mm. So that means if we cut the arc by considering 20 mm means total 6 arcs we have to cut here. Okay, measure 20 mm, and cut 6 arc. Okay, now you draw vertical lines for these all cutted arc points. Okay, cutted the vertical lines. where we have cutted the arc points, right? We need to draw the vertical lines here. Okay. So now we can mention capital A, B, C, D, E, F, E, A. Okay. For the top face also we write A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1 and A1. Okay. So we'll mention it. So that is F1 and A1. We just correct it. Now here you can see already we have marked the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the top face it is 1. We need to measure from top face 1. We need to mark. Then again for 2 we cut it on the vertical edge B, and for the point C, point number 3, we need to cut it on the point C here, vertical edge C. Now on the point 4 it is here exactly at the end point of D1. So you can mention 1, 2, 3, 4. For the 5 again we need to measure, so that is exactly equal to 3. We already measured, that's why we cutting the same length. And then for the point 6, for F1, okay, and then exactly 1 we need to cut at the vertical edge A here. Okay, that is 1. Sorry, that is 1. Now again we need measure for the bottom face. Okay, on the vertical edge B it is 7. Now we need to measure for 8 on the vertical edge C. Okay, measure length from C1 to 8, and it has to be cut on the C. Okay, we need to cut it on the vertical edge C here. We need to cut it on the vertical edge C here, that is point number 8. Then 9 we need to cut it on the vertical edge D. Okay, and then 10. Okay, and then again 11. Okay, so that is 8, 9, 10, 11. So now we have to join all these points with the straight line with the help of the scale here. We have to join it. That is after 6, that is 1. You can correct that. Okay, that is 1. So now you have to join it from A here. Okay, A to 7, A to 7, 7 to 8, like that we need to join. Nine to 10, then 10 to 11, and then 11 to A we need to join. Now to dark these vertical edges. This is what the retained cut portion, okay, of that hexagonal prism. So we have to dark this. Okay, so that completes the problem.